I grew up in the mountains, in the Urai tribe. There aren't many of us there. Everyone knows everyone. I was one of them, but not quite. My father died in the mountains. My mother died the winter after. After that, I lived on my own. People in the village helped sometimes, but they kept a little distance. That's how it is with orphans. I started going into the mountains early, at first with the hunters, then alone. That morning I went out to hunt, like I had many times before. I didn't know yet that by evening my life would be different. And I didn't know that it would all begin with a creature people in our tribe were afraid even to name. I had to bring food for the tribe. That was the duty of every man. A mountain ram, exactly what we needed. He was standing lower on the slope. The wind was blowing in my face, so he couldn't smell me. I already thought the hunt would be easy. Then, the snow under my feet cracked. At first, I didn't pay attention, but the ram lifted its head too. Something was wrong. The cracking spread across the slope. I looked up, and I understood things were bad. An avalanche was coming. The avalanche broke loose at once. The whole slope started moving. It knocked me off my feet. The snow dragged me down the mountain. It spun and crushed me like water. I thought that was the end. Then, my hand hit a root. I grabbed it with everything I had. The avalanche rushed past below, and I was left hanging on the slope. I was hanging almost over the edge. My fingers barely held the roots. With effort, I pulled myself higher. Snow was still falling from the slope. Then, I heard the rumble again. The mountain was moving again. A second wave. I needed somewhere to hide. I looked along the slope and saw a dark opening in the rock. A cave entrance. I slipped into the cave. Almost immediately, the slope collapsed again. Snow rushed past the entrance and the cave shook hard. I pressed myself against the rock and waited. The roar of the avalanche slowly faded down the gorge. Then it went quiet. Inside, it was almost dark, only a faint light from the entrance. And then, somewhere in the darkness, I heard breathing, quiet, and after that, a faint whimper. Deep inside the cave lay a small pup, white, almost the same color as the snow. It was trembling and quietly whimpering. When I stepped closer, its horns suddenly began to glow. A faint blue light pushed back the darkness. The pup looked straight at me. At that moment, I still had no idea this meeting would change everything. I brought him back to the village, and with that, I signed my own sentence. In Urai, people don't fear enemies. They fear what they cannot explain. A white beast with a scythe-shaped horn could mean only one thing to them: disaster. They saw a sign in him, a curse, a warning from the gods. But back then, he was only a cub, a small creature that simply wanted to live. And I was the only one who could see that. People never truly accepted Shiro's presence. Misunderstanding always gives birth to fear. Shiro grew. He hunted with me. He helped find the herds, and our catches became richer. But even that changed nothing. They did not trust us, though they did not drive us away. Until one day, before a terrible storm, Shiro's horn began to glow. The shaman saw it. That same night, he gathered the tribe and declared Shiro a demon. He demanded his death or exile. Everyone supported him. Almost everyone. Araya. She had always been kind to us, but she could not stand against the tribe. She did not dare. The first weeks in the mountains were hard. We were cold, often hungry. More than once I thought I wouldn't survive the winter. But after a while, the mountain started teaching. Shiro noticed things I kept missing. He could smell changes in the wind, hear the snow shifting on the rocks. And every time his horn began to glow, I knew trouble was close. One night, a snow leopard came to our cave. Old, hungry. Shiro sensed it first. We drove it away, but it managed to cut me. The next morning, Urai came to the cave. She brought herbs and dressed the wound. After that, she sometimes came in secret. We would walk into the mountains to watch the sunrise. And somehow, the exile didn't feel so lonely anymore. That morning, Shiro could not settle down. He kept pacing in circles. His horn was glowing without stopping. I climbed up the cliff, and I saw the river. Black, swollen, deadly fast. And down there stood the village, where Urai was. I could have just walked away. They were the ones who drove me out. And still, Urai was there. Shiro was already running down the slope. Sometimes the decision isn't yours to make. Sometimes it's made by the one who feels danger before anyone else. They saw us the moment we reached the gate. A guard raised his bow. I didn't even have time to shout. The arrow flew past me. But Shiro was already inside. His horn flashed so bright that people stopped where they stood. At first, people didn't understand. The river was already coming, black, heavy, fast. I found Urai. We ran for the hill. Shiro drove the people upward. Some shouted, some fell, some carried their children. Then the water arrived. The houses disappeared under the flood, but the people survived. Sometimes a few minutes are enough to save an entire tribe. The water took the village, but not the people. We began again, stone by stone, log by log. The tribe rose again from mud and water. And now, they looked at Shiro differently.
It's almost secure.
People say Absol brings disaster.
Shiro seems calm.
I lived beside him for many years, and I know the truth. Disaster comes on its own. Absol just knows about it earlier.